is when we met with Gimli Council, they talked about doing, 70 from Gimli to Winnipeg Beach. But we as a council hadn't talked about it or agreed to that yet. And then they said that they wanted to meet with us again to confirm any decisions. And I had communicated this to people by letter. I had suggested to Mayor Chud that he actually put the proposal together in writing for all of council to have discussion here about speed limits in Winnipeg Beach before we met with them to make a decision. And I believe we have not received that proposal yet, but he does want to meet again. And I would just caution council that we certainly can meet with them again, but Winnipeg Beach Council is not going to be making any decision in that venue about our speed limits here. We will just be going there for information and coming back to this table to make any decisions. Councillor Chen.
I wasn't able to attend that meeting. Was there any information provided on what the provincial process is for changing speed limits?
No, there was some general discussion about that. Mayor Chud, if I remember correctly, seemed to think that he would be able to get these changes.
So unless things have drastically changed since the last change in speed limits, it isn't just a request. There were traffic studies done by the province, a lot of analysis of the traffic studies, and then the province approached both municipalities, and before they made the changes as a municipality, we had the right to say no, we weren't in agreement with it. This town was in agreement with it, thinking that Gimli was going to also be in agreement with it, only to find out that Gimli decided they weren't going to be in agreement with it, which is why it stayed the speed limit that it is through Sandy Hook, and ours changed. So it would be helpful if at that next meeting, if we actually had information on what the province's process is when you're requesting speed limit changes.
Sure.
Because I think he had said that he was going to propose this to the province about, and I agree with Councilor Kozlowski that it was from quarter mile right to 231. It would be one speed limit because there's like 7 different speed limits. But if we go to this meeting, and as Councilor Jean does indicate, what if we thought that that's what we were going to, and then all of a sudden it was changed. So are we going to do this process again where we go there, or can we just set our own, like at the next meeting, to say, because they're going to start painting the lines when and all that.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I had asked Mayor Chud if he could send us a written proposal of what they are planning to do and what he would like us to do, so that we could have some discussion about it here before we meet with him again.
And you haven't received them.
We haven't received it. No. So do you have a recommendation, please?
Well, I think if council has a shared objective of what they are willing to say as consensus, this is what we would support, I think that would be beneficial for Gimli Council to be aware of their position prior to setting up the meeting. If the speed limits vary or they contradict each other, then I'm not sure the productivity of a joint meeting, and vice versa. So we are aware, in fairness, Gimli has made the decision their preference is to have 50K throughout from Winnipeg Beach to Gimli, and so as Councillor Kozlowski had identified, consensus seemed to be initially settled that the town was in reference to 70, and so I think if council, even tonight, and if you want to delay that, that's fine as well. But what are you comfortable with? What aren't you comfortable with? One of the things as well is Councillor Jarvis mentioned at that meeting is removing the passing lane and having it double line where it becomes no passing throughout that span as well. And so what is this council prepared to support and what aren't you prepared to support? I think giving that information to Gimli prior to actually having the meeting, or it can be addressed at that meeting, it's council's choice.
So I think one of the thoughts I was having was, I know it's very difficult for folks to be doing 90 to 80 to 60 to 50 to 60, and it's quite stupid. And I also know that Councillor Mayor Chad was suggesting that they have one speed limit year round between Gimli and Big Beach. They're not changing it summer and winter. And so 70 made sense to me. I think people are gonna be upset by that a little bit, because 90, during the winter, there's not too much traffic and people are doing usually 100. But that's their part. We kind of said, well, yeah, it would be okay for 70 for Winnipeg Beach, so that we could be cooperating with them to have 70 all the way through. But as soon as he's saying 50 all the way through, I'm not sure about that. Councillor Gendron and then Councillor Jarvis.
So what I find interesting is the comments about 70 through the winter or higher through the winter, yet the issue when this was raised the last time the speed limits were raised was local families with children, and they're concerned when their kids are going to school and the speed is too high on the road because there is no crosswalk, there is no designated area. So, well, a thought might go to, yes, there's less traffic in the winter, there's also the kids going to school in the winter. So is this something we need to address now? We are going to have that vision study done. Is it something that we hope will be part of the vision study and things that are of issue to residents in this community?
Councillor Jarvis.
Yeah, I could go with the vision study on this, but we at quarter mile we're 80. When we hit Kernstead, we go to 70, and then we have a very brief period where we're actually at 50, and then we go right to 60 again, and then we go back to 80 at Poplar. So, and I agree with 70, if we do 70 right through, and a double solid line so that there's no passing, because if you have people doing 70, then you're gonna have people that are, they're gonna do 65. If you have people doing, if we put it at 80, you're gonna have people doing 90. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we gotta find somewhere in the middle where they're, because there are people that go slow and then you wanna go around and pass them and,
You said it, there are some people that are also gonna go 40.
Yeah.
And if you have a double line, you can't pass, you're stuck behind this guy.
Yeah, but if it's a 70.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
But then you're also gonna have, at 70, you're gonna have people going 80.
I know, I had a guy today doing 80 on the highway, I couldn't pass him for like 2 miles. That's crazy.
Life is hard.
Again, is it even our call to be able to request a double line? And that's why I'm thinking perhaps we need some information from the province on what, changing speed limits, are there highway rules that designate when there's a double line and when there's a dotted line, I don't know, a broken line. But I just think, I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves and we're spinning our wheels and doing work in relation to things that we have no control over.
Just as a point of clarification, this wouldn't be something that we would be dealing with unless Gimli had approached us saying, hey, this is what we want to do you want to join us? So I kind of see them as leading this, and our little piece is, a few kilometers long, whether we say, yeah, we'll go along or no, we won't go along. As opposed to us sort of spearheading this and looking at the double lines and reading the legislation. I don't think that we actually have time for that.
The last thing I'll say is I did check with the RCMP on this, and the purpose of the double solid line is that you can, if somebody passes you, like if I'm doing 70K and somebody decides they pass me at 95K, and if I have a dashboard camera, I can have that person charged because I can appear as a witness. And that's the only reason the cops say if you want to stop that sort of stuff, then you put in a double solid line. And that's coming right from the RCMP. And that'll stop a lot of the craziness where people pass.
Okay. So, do we have more clarity now? I would
No.
not, no.
So council's direction to admin on this item?
Council's direction to admin would be that if Gimli is requesting a meeting. I would ask them what they would like to meet about and what the topic is. If they say that they wanna have some confirmation over speed limits, I would suggest that admin ask them for a proposal so we can see it on paper, because when we're just having verbal communication, that message seems to change quite a bit. And so if we could see it on paper so that council can have a discussion here, and then absolutely would be lovely.
That would work.
Okay,
Can we do that?
we can do that.
Thank you. Where are we?
Additions, be it hereby resolved that council accept the resignation of Robert Boytson effective immediately.
Have a mover, please. Councilor Jarvis. And a seconder, please, Councilor Kozlowski. Discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that mayor, council, and staff, be authorized to attend the come and go function for Derek Johnson, MLA for Interlake Gimli, being held at the Arborg Multicultural Heritage Museum in Arborg on May 12th, 2023, from 12 noon to 4 p.m. at no cost, out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diems applicable.
Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Janda. And a seconder, please. Councilor Jarvis. Discussion. Councilor Janda.
If you look at the email, this is actually an invitation for us.
It was just a typo, so the MLA spans within our
Oh.
region, and so it's a mass
Okay,
email invite.
okay.
Other discussion? Any councilors interested in going? Just raise your hands anytime. Staff interested in going?
I have not had this conversation with staff, it was up to council and.
All in favor?
This-
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So. Be it resolved that council accept the committee reports as presented.
I trust that everybody had an opportunity to read the committee reports. I will ask for a mover first. Councilor Gendron. Seconder, please. Councilor Jarvis. I trust people had a chance to read the committee reports.
I have we have one that needs, some discussion, and that is the hot dog.
All right.
Yeah. We've had some discussion before about, I believe when we were discussing hot dog carts, and the pilot in the farmer's market, Councillor Hole also raised, some discussion about possibly piloting one downtown as well. I think the timing of this is well suited and well suited for the event itself.
Councilor Jarvis?
I'm familiar with this person for the hot dog cart, and they're more, it's to complement their sales from their farm. So it's not necessarily a hot dog cart as per se. It is one, but it's not, they're not there to make money off their hot dog cart. They're there to promote their food, their meat. So, and I'm in favor of it.
So additional information has been provided, so under bylaw 15-2015, in reference to an outdoor mobile food cart, there is an application which we have just received today in reference to filling out the actual application. So there is a provision in there for an outdoor mobile food unit as per resolution of council. So there are some considerations through that. So I did try to search the previous agenda minutes to look for a resolution for a circumstance such as this, and I was not able to locate anything through there. But there is a provision that as long as it's by council for special events, council can permit.
I'd like to suggest that, we support this one-time event. It is for the market. He has a stall there to sell his meats and stuff, and this is a way of, as Councilor Jarvis is saying, to promote his meats. I don't know that we should attach this to a food cart bylaw or a new food cart bylaw. Myself and Councilor Cole were just meeting with REC earlier today, and there's some discussion we want to have with restaurants as well before we entertain anything around food carts in the downtown area. So I would like to suggest that we see this as a one-off, if we can. Councilor Jarvis and then Councilor Kozlowski.
And we're considering the options, like a fee, a nominal fee, like a business license, like,
Yeah,
yeah, like, I think it's standard $50 or something like that. yeah.
whatever it is, the administration will take care of that. Councilor Kozlowski first.
Yeah, you got here, Carlos will not be open in the community center. I thought they'll be open all year.
So there has been an update with that. They did expect to be not functioning that day. Carlo has indicated that they will be open that day and running.
However, this is a cart that's gonna be either down on the floor on the ring space or outside the door to the entrance on the side door. So because Carlo has a space in there, it doesn't prohibit other food vendors to be there. Councilor Jenny?
Yes, my question being, if they have paid a fee to enter the market, I'm just wondering why they would be required to also pay a business license or pay anything else in addition to that fee that they have paid to be at the vendor's market. Nobody else has to pay for a business license to be at our vendor's market.
Okay, I think that aspect is something that administration can deal with.
Okay.
I think for us, it's more of the policy in terms of do we allow a food cart in under special circumstances for that one day. Councilor Jarvis?
I'm led to believe though that, and I'll use the arcade as an example, is that if they have a business license that falls under the arcade, but then they want to sell jewelry and food, then they have to also get another license to complement that one.
It could be, but I trust
Yeah,
administration.
but I'm just saying that for what Councilor Sandra said, if they're paying to be in that,
Okay.
as they're going to promote a product, they want to bring in something else, and that would be.
But like I said, I absolutely trust our administration to be
Mhm.
able to figure
Yeah,
that
that's
stuff
fine.
out. The question before us.
That is, sorry, Mayor Jackson, but that is a question before us under the options, which is why I raised that. Authorize a cart with a fee, or authorize a cart with no fee, or do not authorize a cart, which is why I
That
raised
would be
that.
authorized publicly.
That just their fee to be, no additional fee other than their vendor fee for being at the market.
That's a good
I think it's a different animal. I think if they're gonna be selling fresh food or selling food outside the market, I think they should have a business license. For sure. For sure.
Are these carts gonna be throughout the beach area?
No,
Or just
one
in this
cart,
area?
one cart on the side door.
We were not talking earlier at one of the other meetings, maybe throughout the beach area, like the carts, hot dog carts.
So
Ice
the
cream
pilot
carts.
projects, we have talked about it, Councilor Kozlowski, however, when we look at the time permitted and going through, there has been no data, no research. Phase one of the project was to permit a hot dog cart in the community that wasn't under the parameters under bylaw 15/2015. So expanding that phase two piece has not occurred as phase one hasn't started. So as we look through that, when we look at phase two of additional permitting in various other places, that piece, there is clearly more direction needed from council as to where are they gonna go, how many are you permitting, what level of fee structure are you looking at, and those are not administrative decisions to be making. So the phase two aspect is still in construction and has not been off the table, but phase one has through resolution has not started. So I've got no feedback of success rate, as if phase one becomes very detrimental and problematic, that those findings will impact phase two of expanding that. So that's why that has not progressed. Unless council wants to.
And phase two won't be dealt with this year?
That is strictly up to council. It is not up to initially the request came forward for phase one of permitting a very specific, a hot dog cart at one particular location. So and if council supported a pilot, the recommendation from admin was not to amend legislation because it becomes convoluted. So to allow one hot dog cart at that specific location, as per that specific request, creating a pilot project was seamless. When we look at phase two, permitting hot dog carts throughout the rest of the community, that is not administration decision to be making where you're permitting, how many you're permitting, what level of fee structure you're looking at. That is collectively conversations that council needs to look at. And so from an admin perspective, it's challenging for me to provide advice to council with phase two when phase one has not started to allow me to see what problem, is there problems, is there challenges, are there positive feedbacks? I have no advice to give council for the phase two.
And as I had suggested, Councillor Cool and I met with Carissa today, and we're talking about this potential discussion, but feel like it would be important for us to be meeting with the businesses first, to have some conversation there, to see if that will rectify some of the problems that we have in terms of availability of food. And depending upon how that goes, then the rec committee, Councillor Houle, myself, and people from rec, will do some homework in terms of food carts downtown and make some recommendations and bring it to council for full discussion.
Did we not have ice cream carts years ago?
Yep.
Not that long ago, a couple of years ago.
No.
Going down by the beach area.
Nope,
I remember that because I bought ice cream carts for my kids.
they were kicked off.
So,
They were asked to leave.
pardon me?
They were asked to leave.
Okay, so if we can come back to this particular item on the agenda, the hot dog cart for that day. Councillor Jarvis?
We're saying that Carlos will be open, so we should at least notify Carlos too, if we approve this. He's gonna be open, at least give him a letter so we don't just show up with this. He is gonna be open, correct?
Yeah.
So if we do this, and again, I'm familiar with this person, they're promoting their product, they're not there to generate sales from a food cart, from a dog cart, hot dog cart. They're there to promote their product, so I'm in support of it, but with a license, and let Carlos know.
Okay, do we have enough information to go to vote?
So there's no motion on the table. Be it hereby resolved that council permit the request for food cart vendor for the purpose of Market Square as outlined as per option blank identified in the rec manager's report.
We say,
With license?
What about the-
Well, I left the
Oh, okay.
option blank for council.
Okay, that's fine.
so I would like to recommend option one.
Can we get a mover?
Oh, can I get a mover? Councillor Gendron, can I get a seconder? Councillor Jarvis, thank you so
Everybody.
much, everybody.
That fast enough?
That was very good.
Very good.
I'm sorry, I'm recommending option one.
Me too.
All in favor? Carried?
Again, that was quick.
So option one was authorize the cart with fee, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Was there anything else in the reports, Sharon, that we need to deal with separate from accepting the committee reports?
Unless council has concerns.
Any further comments about any of the committee reports?
Okay.
All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council approves the council committee and board reports as presented. No, that's just the
Okay, I get it, I'm just getting
Red
tired.
River Basin Spring Edition.
Yeah. Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Jarvis, seconder, please. Councilor Gendron. Discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that the correspondence be accepted as presented.
Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councilor Kozlowski, just. I trust everybody's read the correspondence. Discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council moves in camera at 8 o'clock to 8 p.m. to discuss matters that are in the preliminary stages and personnel matters. And be it further resolved that any matters discussed while in camera be held confidential until such time as discussed in open council.
Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councilor Gendron. Discussion, all in favor?
So we will now close the meeting. so sound is good.
We're still not on.
Sound is probably. He's he's watching the hockey game,
Oh.
we're not getting an answer tonight.
You have sound.
Do you have sound?
Be it hereby resolved that council moves out of camera at 8:34 PM and resumes the regular meeting of council.
Can you mover, please? Councilor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councilor Kozlowski. All in favor? Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council adjourns the May 10th, 2023 regular meeting of council at 8:35 PM.
Can you mover, please? Councilor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Councilor Gendron. All in favor? Carried.